Hello, Real Estate George here, Unit Manager from Filipino Homes and a PRC accredited and DHSUD registered salesperson. So today we are here in Gaslamp District. So we rode all the way here to exercise. So it's one of the ways that would allow me to de-stress, refocus and realign my priorities. So right now I think it's 6:57, so it's almost 7 o'clock. I'm about to start my day, but before that I would just like to do some moment of reflection. So a couple of weeks ago I was invited to visit to do an ocular inspection of a 4-story house owned by a foreigner through a corporation. So I went there. It's overlooking, it's basically just here in the area. Now he was looking for an agent and he has a couple of properties, and what struck me was during the course of our discussion, he asked me that he's looking for the best real estate agent, that knows how to appraise his property. So of course, I do know that as real estate agents, we are not licensed to appraise a property, okay? But no, that's just one of the things that I would like you to think about, like what makes the best real estate agent, okay? Because there's a lot of criteria that would allow us to determine like he's the best, but it's mostly sales driven. But I think that this is an aspiration that every agent needs to have, and it goes beyond selling, okay? I have here like 4 things in my mind that I think the requirements for you to be considered as the best, okay? Number 1 is you have to know what you don't know, and you have to acknowledge it. Going back to the example, he wants the best real estate agents that knows how to appraise his property. There's a separate category for real estate, and these are real estate appraisers or assessors if you work in the government, and they are the ones licensed to appraise. As real estate agents, you can be tempted to give a value, give a number. You primarily rely on their trust that whatever number you give, they will accept. And this is, I think, one of the pitfalls of real estate agents, because it's so tempting. Although you can have basis. For example, you can assess through comparison. Like you look at this house, it's an example, like it's a 4-story building, and you look at other 4-story buildings in the area with the same, more or less the same structure, similar lot area, and then you use that as comparison, give or take. But there's a lot of variables to consider, okay? Another one is you ask another crude method of assessing a property, and it can be for anyone, is that you ask the value of how much they bought the land. You check on the current market value. You ask how much they sold, how much does it cost to construct the property. You add those, and then you mark up like 20%, 30%, or even 40%, depending on the property. And that's your value, okay? But I think it takes humility to accept that you don't know, and there's no shame in telling them that you don't know. You're not trained for that. You can give rough estimates. But in terms of legit or official appraisal, you don't do that. Real estate appraisers have studied took a course, licensure exam, to do that, and they have strict measurements, assessments. These are all estimates, but what they have are official estimates that you can really use, and you have basis to show for, because they will give you documents to show how they come up with the price. Okay, so that's my first criteria on what it takes to be the best. I'm talking about being an agent and being an appraiser. So what's the difference between an agent and an appraiser? Well, for one, real estate agents do not have a license. Okay, if you see a post like they're licensed real estate agents, that is incorrect. In order for you to be licensed, you have to take the licensure exam. Real estate agents don't take the licensure exam. We just submit documents. We are under the license of a real estate broker. Become an agent. You can be an agent through a broker's network, or you can be an in-house agent, and you can be an agent of the buyer, or you can be an agent of the seller. Okay, so basically you sell, you market properties, or you look for buyers to buy properties. Appraisers, that's what they do. They appraise, they assess the value of the property. So especially for brokerage transactions, or especially for buy sale by owner, so they will assess the property based on the given data available. Okay, and these are official, so there's a difference. Okay, so my first criteria is to become the best. You have to know what you don't know, and you have to be humble enough to admit it. My second criteria is you have to speak the truth. It's common for us to sugarcoat or veer away from the truth, especially if the truth won't allow you to market the property. Okay, sometimes you highlight the other side, downplaying the other side, especially like if the area is flood prone, or it's like there's weak internet connection, or the neighbors are noisy, or the roads are narrow. Okay, these are the things that are real in other projects, and you have to tell them. You have to tell them in a way that doesn't sound like it's gonna be like that forever. Okay, if there's an ongoing construction, like there are plans to rebuild, then why not? You can tell that, but make sure that is the truth. Another thing here is, one of the comments that, or the question that's being asked is it loanable by Pag-ibig? Okay, and we know that for the loan to be approved, there is certain limit in terms of how much can you borrow. So if it's not true, don't assume that it can be loaned through Pag-ibig, or you ask the developer if it can really be loaned by Pag-ibig. And even the bank amortizations, like how much should they pay in a bank? Of course, you're not the bank, but you can give estimates, and when you do, you have to be very clear that these are estimates based on the current rate, because especially for pre-selling projects, it could take 3 or 4 years, and the rate might change and go higher or lower. So you have to be clear to them that these are just estimates, okay, based on online loan calculator. Okay, so you have to be honest. But in order for us to be the best, we have to be client-centered instead of commission-centered. One of the best advice that I got from the broker from Martin is, do not think about commissions. Think about adding value to your clients, because if you do that, then commissions will just follow. If you think about commissions, and this leads me to the third criteria that I have, is you have to empty your cup. What it means is that you have to be humble. You have to take away your pride. You have to take away your greed, your selfishness, your hate. Especially if you've got a sale, sometimes it gets up for our head. We immediately think of the things that we want to buy, even if we have not received the commissions, which by the way can be spread in 3 to 4 years. And even if you have the incentives, it's okay. It's enough to get you by, but it's not enough to change your life. Okay, So you have to take that away. You have to start anew, and you need to have that humility, that hunger to continue to add value to your clients. Again, you need to stop thinking about money. I know it's a basic need to provide, okay? It's not the end, but it facilitates for you to be able to meet your basic needs, okay? That's fine, but it should not be in your head all the time, especially when you deal with clients, because the clients will know, okay? Especially if you are desperate. Okay, so empty your cup all the time. Be humble. Admit that you don't know anything, and even if you know it, you know a lot of things. You have to continue to be inquisitive. You ask your clients what they know, what they want, what it's for, instead of imposing your will to them. Okay, that's not the way to do it. Okay, don't assume that every client is different. Don't assume that every client is the same. They are different. Okay, so you ask, empty your cup. And the last one, and I think this is a little bit of a challenge, is I've talked about, to be the best, you have to be client-centered. You have to stop being commission-centered. The last criteria that I would share to you, and I think this was the most difficult criteria to be the best. Okay. By the way, when you think about the best, there's a lot of awarding in different realties and in different corporations. They always say the best, but these are basically based on just one criteria, and these are based on sales. Okay. Real estate is results oriented, so obviously you need to deliver, you need to produce to be successful. Okay. But to be the best, it should go beyond selling properties. You need to sell dreams to your clients. You need to sell ideas to other agents that this can change their lives if they are just with the right mindset, the right attitude, with the right system, and with the right group of people. You have to sell the idea that real estate agents are professionals. Okay, we don't sulut, we don't deal with illegal activities, we don't steal properties from other agents, we don't sell again and again a property, and we don't market properties that we have not asked permission to. Okay, we have to sell them, which leads me to my last criteria to be the best, which is you have to make an impact to the industry, not just your team, not just your realty, but to the industry. Now, how do you do that? You preach, you share on as many platforms as you can. You have to educate people, even if they are not buying from you. You have to tell them what are the, give tips, best practice, like how to be good, how to stay away from kamote agents. You have to tell them what is written in the law, buyers' protection rights, even developers. You have to tell them what are their rights, because we are the ones that should be knowledgeable, okay? Not just based on experience, but also based on the law. You have to read. There's the Real Estate Service Act of the Philippines. You have to take that to heart. What are the responsibilities of an agent? You sell, but again, if you want to be the best, you have to make an impact. Okay, just like in basketball, there's, if you are familiar with playing basketball, especially in the playoffs now, there's like the best scorer, but being the best scorer doesn't make you an MVP. There are leaders but it doesn't necessarily make you an MVP. To be an MVP or the most valuable player, you have to make an impact that goes beyond scoring. Okay, it's more felt on the leadership, but also the little things. Okay, it doesn't mean that if you have achieved a lot, you will no longer do the little things, helping someone, giving tips. No, it's easier said than done, because I'm also guilty with that. Like, if you're too busy, you don't always reach back. But these are things that you aspire for. That's why it's difficult to be the best. Okay, to be the best, not just in your team, to be the best not just in your realty, but to be the best in the industry. Okay, now going back, what makes an agent to be the best? You have to know what you don't know. You have to be honest. You have to speak the truth. You have to empty your cup. And the last one is you have to make an impact to the industry. Okay, so I think that's it for my reflection for today. It's a bit windy, so I think the noise of the wind affects the quality, but you know, I will have more of this. These are the things that is brought to you by biking in the mountains. You think, you unwind, you reflect on things that you're supposed to do even before you start your day. Okay, so once again, this is George Sarmago, Unit Manager from Philippine Homes. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay at home, and peace.